Hi, my name is Natalie Fine. I'm a counselor at the Community College of Philadelphia, and today I'm going to be talking to you about test taking anxiety, specifically reducing feelings of panic during exams. Let's take a moment to talk about the benefit of reframing. Instead of I am so nervous, I am so stressed, I am panicking, try to relabel that feeling as I am so excited. Now, stay with me. I know this is silly, but what is the feeling really of being nervous? It's a feeling, some kind of feeling of excitement in your body. And then we give it a negative meaning or connotation. Whereas if we label that feeling as excited, it has a positive connotation and it actively dispels the negative feelings. Whereas if we say, I'm so nervous, we are increasing our negative feelings. Signs of anxiety: patchy sleep and sleepless nights, irritability or short temper, butterflies in the stomach, poor appetite or comfort eating, tendency to drink more coffee, tea, alcohol, or to smoke more. Intense feelings of anxiety can trigger a panic attack. Signs of panic: it's a racing heart, feeling weak, faint, or dizzy, tingling or numbness in the hands, fingers, also the toes, sense of terror or impending doom, feeling sweaty or having chills, chest pains, breathing difficulties, feeling a loss of control. Now, the difference between anxiety and panic attacks: anxiety is typically related to something that's perceived as a stressful, or threatening action. Panic attacks aren't always cued by stressors. They most often occur out of the blue. Anxiety can be mild, moderate, or severe. Panic attacks mostly involve severe, disruptive symptoms. During a panic attack, the body's autonomous fight or flight response takes over. Physical symptoms are more intense than symptoms of anxiety. While anxiety can build gradually, panic attacks usually come on abruptly. Panic attacks typically trigger worries or fears related to having another attack. This may have an effect on your behavior, leading you to avoid places or situations where you think you might be at risk of having another panic attack. Proactive strategies: your body is a machine, but it needs sleep to operate effectively. All-nighters are never a good idea. Even if you know all the information backwards and forwards, it is never a good idea to have an overnight, pull an all-nighter. You want to have enough sleep so you can operate effectively. You want to start studying at least a week out, maybe even two if it's a final. You want to have a proper meal, a healthy meal, 1 hour before the exam. Visit the bathroom right before the test, and you want to bring whatever needed supplies. When you receive the test, you want to put the test down if it's a paper test, or close your eyes for a moment if it's a virtual test. You're going to wait for any instructions or announcements, and you're going to scan the test and plan your time. Now we're going to discuss reducing feelings of anxiety or panic during an exam. Deep breathing is very effective. You want to focus on taking deep breaths in and out through your mouth, feeling the air slowly fill your chest and belly, then slowly the breath leaving your body. Breathe in for a count of 4, hold for a second, and then breathe out for a count of 4. Then slowly breathe out, imagining you are blowing the tension out of a straw. Now, if you're having feelings of a panic attack, first recognize you're having a panic attack. By recognizing that you're having a panic attack, you can remind yourself that this is temporary, it will pass, and that you're okay. Close your eyes. To reduce stimuli, you're going to close your eyes during your panic attack. This way you can block out any extra stimuli, and which will make it easier for you to focus on your breathing. Practice mindfulness. This connects your body to the earth, and it allows you to get out of your head. So you're going to focus on the sensations that you are familiar with, like digging your feet into the ground, wiggling your toes in your socks, or feeling the texture of your jeans on your hands. These specific sensations ground you firmly in reality and will give you something objective to focus on. You can also find a focus object. Focus all of your energy and attention on an object in the room until the feelings lessen. So, for example, on my desk, I have a Diet Snapple bottle. So, if I was focusing on this to reduce my stress, I would want to describe it to myself with as much detail as possible to get me out of my head. So, for example, it is a clear glass shiny bottle with a shiny silver cap with a white and pink label with raspberries on it. Focus on as much detail as possible to get yourself away from your feelings of panic and worry. Another strategy is muscle relaxation. Much like deep breathing, muscle relaxation techniques can help stop your panic attack in its tracks by controlling your body's response as much as possible. So you're going to consciously relax one muscle at a time, starting with something simple like the fingers in your hand or your toes, and move your way up through your body, clenching and unclenching or tensing and untensing your muscles throughout your entire body. Another strategy is to picture your happy place. Close your eyes and imagine your happy place using as many of your senses as possible. I love the beach, so this activity would look like this for me. Look up in the sky and I see a beautiful blue sky, white fluffy clouds, a bright yellow sun. I can feel the sand nice and warm, tickling my toes, and the feeling of warmth from the sun on my skin. I could smell the salt in the air. I could hear the waves crashing and the sound of the seagulls squawking and children laughing. And you want to describe your happy place to yourself using as many of your senses as possible. Another strategy is to repeat a mantra internally or out loud if you are taking the test remotely. Repeating a mantra internally can be relaxing and reassuring, and it gives you something to grasp onto during a panic attack. For example, I will get through this. This test does not define me. I will be okay no matter what. There's also something called the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. It brings you back to the here and now. It starts with you sitting comfortably, close your eyes, and take a couple of deep breaths. In through your nose, you're going to count to 3, and out through your mouth to the count of 3. Now open your eyes and look around and say internally, 5 things you can see, 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, 1 thing that you can taste. It might be a good idea if you're going to do this exercise to have a piece of chocolate handy or a mint or some gum. You're going to take a deep breath in and finish it to the end. Another grounding technique I find is helpful, especially if you're in the dark having trouble sleeping. I call it my favorite things or my senses. It starts with you sitting comfortably. You're going to close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths in through your nose to a count of 3 and out through your mouth. And you're going to think of 3 each of your favorite senses. What are your 3 favorite sounds? What are your 3 favorite smells? What are your 3 favorite touches and feelings? What are your 3 favorite things that you can taste? And what are your favorite things that you can see? Finger breathing. You're going to open one palm of your hand. You're going to take deep breaths. You're going to trace up one side of your thumb to the count of 1, 2, 3. Then you're going to go down the other side of the finger to a count of 1, 2, 3. You're going to repeat it for every finger, and then you're going to switch hands. Some final tips. The best thing that you can do is prepare for the exam. If you know you have done everything you can do to prepare for the exam, that will reduce your feelings of anxiety. Instead of thinking, I'm so stressed, say to yourself, I'm so excited. It has a more positive connotation. Stop calling it a test. Negative connotations will just increase your stress. Try to reframe it and instead call it, it is feedback to let you know what you have learned and what you need to focus on for the future. Don't worry if you finish first or last. Don't second guess yourself. Your first instinct is usually the best one. And no matter what happens, spend some time celebrating yourself. If you're still struggling with test anxiety, you can email the counseling department at counseling@ccp.edu and schedule an appointment with one of our counselors. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you found this helpful for dealing with panic and anxiety during your test.